Let me ask you something. What would your life look like if you truly believed that you didn't have to earn approval? See, so many of us are exhausted, not just from the work we do, but from the weight we carry. We feel like if we don't keep pushing and striving and hustling, we'll fall behind, or worse, we'll somehow lose our worth. But the struggle isn't just a busy calendar. The real question beneath the grind is, do I trust that His grace, God's grace, is enough? Or do I still believe that it's all up to me? That's what we're talking about today on Living Imperfectly Perfect. Hey everybody, welcome to Living Imperfectly Perfect. I'm Fann Fitzgerald, a cognitive behavioral therapist, life coach, and someone who's spent years trying to be perfect and failing a bunch. Through biblical truths and practical tools, I've helped men and women break free from anxiety, depression, and unfulfilled dreams and start walking in their abundant life. And now, I want to help you. So slip on your fuzzy socks, pour yourself a cup of coffee, and take a deep breath. You're in a safe space where grace wins, truth heals, and it's more than okay to live imperfectly perfect. Welcome back, my friend, to Living Imperfectly Perfect, where we remind ourselves that God's love is bigger than our flaws and His grace meets us exactly where we are. I'm Robin, and today's conversation is close to my heart because I've been on both sides of this one. The side that grinds until I'm worn thin, and the side that learns to rest in grace. This episode is called Grace Over Grind, and I believe it might be the deep breath that your soul needs. Let me ask you this question one more time. What would your life look like if you truly believed you didn't have to earn approval? What if you didn't have to keep pushing and striving and hustling, believing that was maintaining your worth? What if you could just trust that God's grace is enough and that it wasn't up to you to give yourself worth? Here's the truth, y'all. Grace isn't just a church word. It's the heartbeat of the entire gospel. Ephesians 2:8-9 tells us that it is by grace that you've been saved through faith. And this is not from yourself, but it's a gift of God. It's not by works, so that no one can boast. Grace means that your value is not on trial. It means that the God who created the whole universe looks at you and He calls you His, not because of your flawless performance, but because of His unshakable love. It's this beautiful gift that He gave you when He died for you on the cross. And when we choose grace over grind, we stop living like hard workers trying to earn a paycheck, or better yet, live paycheck to paycheck. And we start living like beloved children who already have a seat at the table. I can remember years ago sitting in the church parking lot in my car and trying to go through everything I had to do on my to-do list in my head. I'd said yes to everything, good things, God things, but I was so tired. And I remember gripping the wheel and whispering, I cannot keep up with this. I can't keep doing this. And in that quiet, I sensed a gentle voice saying, you don't have to. Now, God wasn't scolding me. He wasn't giving me a sermon. It was just kind of Him giving me permission to be human again. And so I stopped doing a lot of the things that I had been doing. And nothing dramatic happened. except I felt that my heart came back home to my body. And that day and all the days following, I've been really trying to practice the choosing of grace on purpose over the grind. So here's the next question that I want to ask you. What are you really afraid will happen if you rest? Are you afraid you'll fall behind or disappoint someone or lose your worth? When we name the fear, we can bring it into the light, and then grace can reach it. From a psychological perspective, this is what happens when you're in that constant hustle. Your nervous system keeps you in fight or flight because rest isn't laziness, it's regulation. Even 2 to 5 minutes of slow breathing can cue safety to your brain. What also happens is you begin to believe that worth is conditional. Many of us learned early that love follows achievement, and that becomes conditional self-worth. Like, I'm okay, but only when I'm producing. But grace says you're loved before you produce. The other thing that happens is you get into these cognitive traps, like all or none thinking. For example, if I slow down, everything will fall apart. That thinking is not correct. And what you have to do is interrupt that loop with truthful and kind statements to yourself. Finally, the last thing that could be happening is dopamine, that feel-good chemical. And ticking off boxes gives us a quick hit, a quick dopamine hit, which can make busyness feel safe. But what you need to do is build new rewards around presence and rest and mindfulness and connection so that your brain learns a different win. The other morning, one of my devotionals came from Matthew 11:28 through 30. And it said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. My yoke is easy and my burden is light." When I read that, I thought, that sounds so absolutely beautiful. That God gives us rest and an easy yoke, not one where we have to keep striving and maybe even feel like we're failing, but one where we can just rest in the presence that God's got this, and our worth is not defined by the things that we do. See, grace means your value isn't on trial. You're not a project that God's trying to fix. You're a person that God deeply loves. The kingdom of God runs on love, not constant hustle. If our conversation today has spoken to your heart, and if this is something that you've been dealing with, I want you to go to my website. I posted a post with some practices this week, and what I'd love for you to do is pick one or two and do them for homework. What you can do right now is called a breath prayer. Find a quiet place, close your eyes, and as you inhale, think about the word Jesus. And as you exhale, think about the words, I rest in you. Try to breathe from your belly, taking slow, deep breaths, and try that exercise for just a few minutes. My friend, you were never designed to live your life on empty. You were created to walk in His grace. Thank you for joining me for Grace Over Grind. If this episode did speak to you, will you share it with someone who might need the reminder that they are already enough in Him? And if you're having trouble finding that grace, or if you don't know Christ, all you have to do is speak to Him today and ask Him to come into your heart and into your life. Okay, my friend, I want you to remember that God's grace isn't just a backup plan for when you fail. Instead, it is the foundation for an abundant life. I'll see you next time right here on Living Imperfectly Perfect. Until then, I want you to live like you are loved, not just by me, I do love y'all, but by the Creator of the entire universe. So remember, I'm with you, I'm for you, and again, I love you, and I believe that you're going to walk in grace for the rest of this day and then on. Thank you, my friend, for spending a few minutes with me today. Remember, you don't have to earn God's favor, chase perfection, or carry it all alone. You are God's masterpiece. You are His righteousness, and you are already enough in Him. So, keep walking forward one grace-filled step at a time, and I'll meet you right back here next time for Living Imperfectly Perfect. So bye for now, and you are going to have a really great day. I just know it.